Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. You ever heard the term, whoa? You probably have if you've been around horses and stuff. You're like, whoa, hold on here. Jesus uses that term here in the Bible, especially here in Matthew. When he's talking about what is happening in the episode today is there's religious leaders and they are doing everything right religiously, but they don't have that relationship with God. Okay, and it's obvious because they're just trying to do the rules. Okay, and then but when it comes to the heart of the person, it's not there. All right, so they're doing everything right, but they don't have that heart of God. So today we're going to be reading from Matthew 23, verses 13 through 32. And it's really the 7 woes of the teachers of the law and the Pharisees. So Jesus, these teachers of the law and the Pharisees had been going after Jesus, trying to trip him up. Now they're done with that. And now Jesus comes to them and says, and brings correction to them and says, you've been doing this and that is not, you've been doing the religious things, but you have not had the heart of God. You have not had the heart of God. Okay, so let's read this. I'm going to go through it. It's Matthew 23 verses 13 through 32. Again, it's kind of a sad because these guys think they're doing everything right, but they're not. They don't have that heart of God. Okay, and that's something we need to examine in ourselves today, rather than just going through the religious rituals of like, I go to church and I read my Bible and I pray, but do you have that heart of God in you? Are you honest? Are you seeking God's heart with everything? Okay, so God appreciates more that person that they might not be obeying all the religious rules, but they have that heart of God where they're seeking after God, rather than a person who obeys all the rules and does all the things, but they don't have that heart of God. And that's what Jesus is pointing out here. It says this, Matthew 23, 13 to 32. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites. Okay, we talked about hypocrites last time. They're guys that fake what they're doing. You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Okay? Imagine with me, it's like people, I'm trying to get people to come to my church and to fill my church up, but I don't necessarily want them to have a relationship with God. And that's what these guys are doing. They're like trying to, get people into their church, you might say, and be a part of their congregation. But as far as having a relationship with God, they're not. That's not their intent. It's crazy. It's backwards. Verse 15, woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites. You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are. They're not teaching the Bible. They're teaching their own rules, okay, and leading them into hell, okay. Verse 16, woe to you, blind guides. You say, if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing, but anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by that oath. You blind fools, which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold sacred? You also say, if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing, but anyone who swears by the gift on the altar is bound by that oath. You blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore, anyone who swears by the altar swears by it, and everything on it. And anyone who swears by the temple swears by it, and by the one who dwells in it. And anyone who swears by heaven swears by God's throne, and by the one who sits on it. Okay, these guys are being nitpicky about everything, and like, oh, don't swear on this, but you can swear on this. And it's like, it's the same thing. Okay. Verse 23, woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites. You give 1/10 of your spices, your mint and your dill and your cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides, you strain out a gnat but swallow a camel. Okay, so you'd have guys here. These are spices, and they're getting their spices, and it's a show. What they're doing is doing this as a show, like they're tithing 10% of that, of their spices. But when it comes to someone who's truly hurting, that's beside them, they're like, that's too bad for you. And so it's kind of backwards here. Verse 27. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, you on the outside appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous. And you say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would not have taken part with them in shedding the blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourselves that you are descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Go ahead then and complete what your ancestors started. I'm going to stop there for today. The big thing is this, and I said it at the beginning. You have guys that they're obeying all the religious stuff. It would be similar today to like, I go to church every Sunday. I go to church every time the door is open, and I'm reading my Bible and doing all these things. I'm filling in all the blanks. Okay, but are you truly seeking the heart of God? Okay, and that's what Jesus is pointing out here. They're not. They're doing everything right, and so hopefully that is not us today. Hopefully we are ones that are following the heart of God. Okay, if we're not, Jesus is saying, whoa. Thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Lord's blessing.